Well, a very good evening, ladies and gents. Sorry to break up the mix and mingling and the meet and greet. You all look very lovely this evening. The weather has treated us well. But we're going to stick on time for this event because time is essential. Good evening, I'm Joel Ryan. Lovely to meet all of you. I have not had an opportunity of meeting many faces, but I will eventually. This evening could not have been possible if it wasn't for the support of this gentleman and his amazing staff here at the Trinidad and Tobago Embassy. Consulate, thank you. Lovely, good to be corrected in public. And as we do so, especially when we're live on Instagram. Yeah? So we would like to have the opportunity of introducing Mr. J. Andre Livo, lovely, our Consul General, to open the function, but more importantly, to bring greetings to this fantastic experience, a joyful giving. When we celebrate a birthday, usually we expect to have the gifts, but this year, our Consul General thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for Ozzie to give back. And as such, ladies and gentlemen, our Consul General.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago soil. How are you doing this evening? We're really glad to have you. And before I go any further, I want to say happy birthday, Ozzie Stewart. Yeah. So I'm greeting you on behalf of my wife, Haley, and probably the best staff in the entire world, the staff of the Consulate General of Trinidad and Tobago, who are here assisting with this event. I'm so proud to see some familiar faces, people that have been highlighted by Ozzie. She's done a great job. She always does a great job of shining a light on Trinidad and Tobago and their achievers. And that really resonates with us here at the consulate because we want to produce a sense of importance, of legacy, a sense of importance of our achievement. We want to inculcate that in the diaspora, that, listen, we have people who continue to slay giants and just do great things in massive places. And our trainees, as exemplified by Ozzie, they are not daunted by size, they're not daunted by the age of our country, they're not daunted by anything really. They do great things in massive places. So I want to thank Ozzie for choosing to do this on Trinidad and Tobago soil, and she was particularly I could tell she was particularly emotional about this event. There's a lot happening. There's so much. This is almost like a kind of eclectic event. There's so much happening. It's not a book launch. It's not a book signing. It's not just a launch of the on the Call podcast. It is a celebration, all right, and a celebration of contributions to life and to overcoming and to achieve excuse me to achievement. So we are really glad to be here, and I'm glad to have you here. And I'd want you to have a wonderful evening as we celebrate this wonderful time with an incredible patriot, not just a patriot, but just an incredible person on the whole, who has such, and I'm sure all of us who know her say the same thing that I do, has such a sincere heart. You know, she's just pure honesty, and it's comforting to deal with someone like Ozzie. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening as we celebrate with Ozzie Stewart.
Thank you so very much. And at this time, we would like to invite Miss Ozzie Stewart just to say a few words. I'm not going to give you the microphone as yet. This is my tool for the evening. Celebrating a birthday is an important milestone. But when someone chooses her entire network of friends and family to celebrate this moment with you, It's more than just a birthday. It's a celebration of life, and it's a celebration of a journey that we have taken with each other in many different ways. And this evening, we're here to celebrate an amazing woman who, to many of us, has created many pathways, has broken ground, but more importantly, have shared from her heart, and now we want to make sure that we celebrate her.
Okay, now I can go home. Thank you very much. Okay, where do I begin? That's why I wrote stuff down, so bear with me a minute. Thank you, dear Consul General, for your care and support. Welcome, my podcast alumni, many of you here that I see, and distinguished speakers who have traveled to get here to spend some time with us. This is our first event, first ever event after, I don't know, five and a few years. And just so I let people know what it is we do, we're launching a podcast network. And that network includes really 5 different podcast segments. One is TRINI Corner, which shines light, as Mr. Laveau had said, shines light on Trinidadian expats who, by their careers and lives, doing extremely wonderful things on behalf of their country. So they're impacting the country. The next one is our hard issues. And the hard issues speaks to those who have personally experienced any of 6 global issues: abuse, addiction, trafficking, homelessness, animal welfare, those are in that fight, and climate change, our poor earth that's suffering. Then it goes back to the Thank You projects, which is where I began. This is a video series where, because of a health issue back in 2019, I was a little bit worried about a path and worried about if something would have happened to me, how I would give thanks to people who've impacted my life. So that's my Thank You project, about saying thanks face to face. The thanks and the thoughts and flowers thing just doesn't work for me, you know? Then the other one is Since Then. What we do there is we reach back to those who have been on the podcast to let them know that they're not forgotten, and to also find out what they have accomplished since then, since we last spoke. So they're in our thoughts and prayers as we are alive and living, right? We have another segment which people should be aware of, and that is it goes on our membership page. But yes, there is a membership fee, but what you get there are segments that show a different view of the people that we have spoken about. You know, a lot of people speak, or on the podcast, we speak about people's careers and their goals and, you know, all of that business stuff, right? But who are the people behind all of that stuff? And that's where that lays. So if you want to get to know more about the people we speak to, we look at our membership page inside the call. So thank you for coming in for this launch, also of our nonprofit. Our nonprofit is called Beyond the Call 24/7, whereas the podcast is called On the Call, right? And the On the Call is a call to action to the issues that we bring up on our hard issues segment, right? And tonight we shall donate to 4 different organizations as our first give back from Beyond the Call. You know, call to action means that if we're doing this thing, let's do this thing really, instead of talking about it, right? So with your help, the raffles, we have the silent auction, we have some beautiful artwork by Adele Bino in Trinidad, sent especially for this occasion. So that's all I'm going to say. On our website, you will experience our OTCN On the Call Podcast Network, where the experience includes an art gallery that shows artwork that caps each segment. with TRINI Corner, of course, we have to highlight only Trinidadian artists, all right? Our testimonial page is another one. Our faith page where people speak to, we show clips of guests speaking to their faith. We even have a remembrance page for those who have transitioned, who are part of our journey. All right, in 2023, we made our first out-of-state trip to Colorado. That's just last year, guys, for the first time for 2 segments. This year, we went to Trinidad to get 2 segments. And next year, the plan is, with your help, to go to London, Germany, Toronto, and Cuba. Okay. And yes, TRINI Corner is the engine that is going to get us out there, but we are bringing along the hard issues, which are global issues, wherever we go, right? So we're in the hopes that you will see the mission and vision and hard work in the research, production, marketing that we've been doing these past 5.5 years, could you believe? Over 100 episodes, and support us. We're not begging now, but we're support us, please. And let's hitch a ride on each other's journey that can cause massive ripple effects far and beyond our wildest dreams together. Doing for humanity, which is our spiritual pull and passion as humans, celebrating our full power as men and women, making a difference together of transformations which work now and in our lifetimes, shining light, seeing tangible effects that multiply. And now, got that? Lastly, thank you for making me feel touched, loved, and empowered by your grace and presence on this 30th anniversary of my 38th birthday.
You're right. Absolutely. And now, I'm going to ask you, this is not a trick question. Do you all have your... Everybody had a copy. Everybody has a cell phone, because rotary phones are out now. There's a barcode in there, and that barcode is meant to do something. It's meant for you to become part of this community and be connected. Listen, many of you know that charity begins at home. Your parents taught it to you. And so it's important for us to carry this message on. So if you physically can't be there, you can lend your voice, and you can also lend your pockets to a worthy cause. It will help. For the next few minutes, I would like for you all to give the speakers undivided attention, because the work and contribution that they have given and represented the diaspora has just been tremendous. Our next speaker, Farley Cleghorn, many accolades, internationally recognized health expert, but more importantly, great sense of humor and amazing, amazing fellow Trinidad and Tobago national. His most recent accolade, the Chancellor's Award for Research in Global and International 2023. And this evening, he's here not only to impart a little bit of his knowledge, but to also share with you his journey and his success. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Farley Cleghorn.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I want to thank Ozzie for being the nucleus of this gathering. I want to thank Andre for being the host. If I sound a little emotional, it's because of Wendy's pepper sauce. Yeah, I like it. There's so many things to say, but I want to applaud Ozzie because she's trying to do something that Caribbeans find relatively difficult to do. By the way, I think of myself as a Caribbean man, okay? But I am a Trini. I've been living in the United States for 35 years. I live in D.C., Washington, D.C. And when I was young, I used to hang out in New York, getting into trouble. But I am a doctor, and I've been one for 42 years. And being a doctor gives you a certain amount of resources, and you think about how are you going to change the environment so other people could also have the kinds of resources you do and the kinds of ability to influence and impact. And so the way Ozzie and I met is that my family created a foundation in my parents' name called the Frank and Myrtle Cleghorn Foundation. And in April, we sponsored a show with the Trinidad and Tobago government, which was 50 years of Peter Minshall's designs at Stolmeyer's Castle in Port of Spain. And if you haven't seen that show, there's a great archive of it in the National Archives of Trinidad. And it's 50 years of design for Carnival, designs that changed Carnival. And there I met an old friend, Carol LaChapelle, who told me, you've got to meet my niece, Ozzie. So Ozzie and I were introduced in April, and we met for the first time last month when she came down to my place in DC to interview me. And we really hit it off. And one of the things we discussed was, what is your philosophy of giving back to the community? And I have a very expansive philosophy. We're all familiar with, emergency giving. We're all familiar with compassionate giving. But there are also philosophies, long-term philosophies around how you give back. One of the most important ways is to do things yourself, to get into direct service, to give time. And I think that's one of the best ways, because you get to use your skill sets that you've accumulated over time, in my case as a doctor, physician, scientist. But it also allows you to meet vast numbers of people, the people who are in need. And so there are other philosophies that you can try to combine into compassionate and emergency giving. And one of those is what we call effective altruism, which is you think about the issues that are most important to you, the ones that impact the people you care about, and you try to influence those. And I consider what we're doing here tonight part of effective altruism. That is, you're giving back to help change the environment that we all came from, which is the Caribbean. And the Caribbean, amazingly, as far as advanced as we like to think it is, it still has institutionalized injustices against many groups of people. And so one of the things that I like to do is to give a little boost when it's necessary. And so on behalf of the Frank and Myrtle Cleghorn Foundation, Ozzie, here's a check. Do some good work.
Ooh-wee. Okay.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Please, it's all already gone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank all of you for being here.
I'll have one more rum punch with you. Perhaps there's another check in there. Now that's the kind of guest you would like to have function. But more importantly, that's why you have a barcode. And we just want to acknowledge Trinidad nationals that continue doing great work. Yeah? It's one step forward, and these are the kind of forums that we get to learn and share some of the incredible work that's taking place. Our next speaker, Dr. David John. Wow. An advocate for many years in the field of HIV and AIDS, was very instrumental back in the days when the community of Tunapuna went up in arms when Cyril Ross had its very first home for children living with HIV. Dr. David John stepped in and with the support of his colleagues here in New York, brought a refreshing sense of common sense to the population. Since then, he has continued his work in mental health and has also worked in the Tri-Borough state, creating prevention programs in substance abuse. But this evening, I'm going to allow Dr. David John to share his story and journey with us.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Joel. Listen, Ozzie, to set the record straight, I have no check. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this gathering to celebrate the Beyond the Call and their network that is about to be launched. And in celebration of Ozzie's birthday, I am so deeply honored to speak about an extraordinary person whose vision and selflessness have transformed countless lives. Ozzie, you are the embodiment of compassion and dedication. Your unwavering commitment to making the world a better place through the Beyond the Call inspire us all. One of the things you have stressed in your programs is mental health issues. And in stressing mental health issues, the real challenge about mental health is that it impacts on our overall health. So it affects on our physical and psychological well-being. The interplay between mental health and physical and emotional health is well documented. Here are some of the key ways that they influence each other. Disorders like anxiety and depression is something we talk about, but there's little more talk and less action. But let me assure you, there's more anxiety and depression that we can diagnose because people are not screened. There's something called a general anxiety disorder screen. So when you go to your provider, it would be a timely thing to say, listen, do you offer general anxiety disorder screen? Now, if your provider doesn't order that, I could suggest something to you. Google the nearest Gotham site, health site, and we offer that every year. So you have an alternative. You have an alternative. So, but anxiety and depression places a burden on the cardiovascular system. It affects hypertension, it affects the heart rate, and consequently putting a huge burden on our healthcare system. And we have association with mental health disorders. The demand to access mental health services has outpaced our provider supply. So that is why screening is very important to get those who need the help the appropriate place to get the help. I'll take the opportunity again to remind you about accessing Gotham Health Services. Psychological stress can lead to high blood pressure, a major risk factor for stroke and heart attacks. Chronic stress, people who are chronically stressed for different reasons, personal issues, life issues, it could impact on hormonal changes that could affect the digestive system, the immune system, and other cardiovascular functions. But there's more mental health frequently. There's more. Mental health frequently impacts sleep, appetite, and perception of chronic pain. We know all too well that the individuals with mental health issues may turn to alcohol and substance use. And depression and anxiety are two medical challenges that very often reduce motivation for physical activity, healthy eating, and thereby increasing the rate of obesity and related diseases. So Ozzie, and you and your team, I want to take the opportunity, your network is more than just an organization. It's a symbol of what we can achieve when one person dares to dream big and takes action. Your journey has shown us the true meaning of empathy, resilience, and the power of collective effort. I wish you and your team success in this launch and many more years of positive change. Congratulations on this day, your birthday, and congratulations on this incredible milestone. We are so proud of you and excited for all that is yet to come. Thank you very much.
At this stage, thank you, Dr. John. And yeah, I'm one of those followers of Gotham Head, and I can tell you, when you walk into that experience, it's an experience. And they check everything, and they take care of you. You get follow-up phone calls, you have it on your phone. Listen, it is the best experience of a health service that I have encountered. And you know what? You walk in there and you hear the songs of Port of Spain, Kingston, St. George, and Bridgetown. It's beautiful. At this stage, we're going to break for a few minutes for a light bit of entertainment so that you can continue mix and mingling, and then we will start with our speakers. So enjoy a little music, a little dance, meet someone new, and we'll be back. In the meantime, don't forget to check our silent auction table. And if you have arrived, please ensure that you have a raffle ticket. There's some beautiful artisan pieces. If you're walking through, don't forget to stop by our silent auction table. Some of those artisan pieces will look beautiful in your hallway and have your raffle ticket. You want a chance to participate. We have some incredible speakers coming up. But as you arrive, just mix and mingle, introduce yourself. We want to know you. If you've got a brochure, please open up your cell phone, get your cameras active. Scan that QR code. Well, I see everyone is enjoying Aunt Wendy's, and that's an excellent thing. Most fantastic. But we're going to break tradition just a little bit in keeping with the flow of this evening. And I would like to introduce the folks over in the line with the food. We're calling on your attention because our next speaker is going to be none other than Miss Vashti D'Vrai. But more importantly, we're sharing the stage again. That's all right. So you can still remain in the food line. You can still sit where you are, because what's important is hearing the words that's coming from Miss D'Vrai as she brings to you her message. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Vashti D'Vrai. But what many of you may not know is this lovely lady standing next to me. For lots of you who enjoy Yves Saint Laurent belts and scarves and wallets and purses, this beautiful lady here has been the inspiration and the designer for 3 decades. She's also the professor of new design at the Parsons Academy right here in New York. She's bringing words of encouragement and wisdom, but more importantly, sharing her journey with you in the most profound way. Ladies and gentlemen, Vashti D'Vrai.
Thank you, everyone, for coming today.
Step out into the light so they can see you.
This is a beautiful gathering. Ozzie have told me several times that when she was doing her TRINI Corner, that she worked with the consulate, and here we are today in another phase of what she does. I met Ozzie many moons ago. It's so many moons ago. And we became friends instantly because we had a lot in common. She also was in the fashion business for a moment until she found her real calling. I have been in the fashion business for 47 years. In New York, it's a tough thing to break into the fashion business in the early 80s. However, as Ozzie had her journey, I knew what I wanted in fashion from the time I was 12 years old. Because my mother in Trinidad, God rest her soul, she was in that business. She never wanted me to get into it. She said, that's a hard business. However, she knew that was my dream. And I never stopped dreaming. So I went abroad, came to New York, went to Fashion Institute of Technology, studied, and my dream was to work for Yves Saint Laurent. One day I said that to my mother. She said, child, don't say things like that. You'll be very disappointed. But I kept dreaming. I went to Paris, showed my work. Immediately, they hired me. So that was my breakthrough in fashion, and I am truly grateful for that. So as we come together today to celebrate Ozzie, the podcast, and the launch of her podcast network, which is amazing. I was one of the few in the beginning, maybe 5, 6 years ago, that she interviewed me. I really didn't know where she was going with that. But as I watched her work very hard to push the podcast forward, I realized what she was doing. So today, I would like to speak a little on gratitude. Practicing gratitude is very easy. It is not a difficult thing. As you wake up in the morning, you can think of 3 things that you're grateful for. You can write them down or just think of them. Because giving gratitude makes you a better person. I can tell that. I can say that to you. Expressing gratitude is important. Tell someone every day that you appreciate them. That is so important because it's lacking in the world today. So you can call a friend. If you speak to a friend, you can just say, I'm so grateful that you're in my life. I have a friend, every time she calls me, she tells me that. She says, I'm so grateful you're in my life. Practicing gratitude helps another person when you tell them that they are appreciated. Gratitude has an effect of helping you to connect and refocus with your emotions, which does help a lot. With everyday challenges, if you have gratitude, you can handle your everyday challenges even better. We all like to be appreciated. Gratitude kept to yourself is wonderful. But expressing your gratitude to another person becomes real. And it benefits that other person that you are saying, I appreciate you. I feel appreciated. That person feels appreciated. If we look at what's going on in the world, there is so much hate that I try to talk to all my friends and say, you must practice gratitude every day. It, in your little world, it helps you. And the next person you can touch, it can be in your office, it can be any place on the street. If someone needs help, you go to that person, you tell them they're a human being and they are appreciated. Expressing gratitude often builds connections and social bonds and improves relationships. Gratitude is always a key component of helping with our mental health. The speaker before me spoke of mental health, and that, I would say, is an epidemic in the world today. So just practicing gratitude helps you and helps the other person with their mental health. It also ties into your physical well-being. We may not think that, but it does. Gratitude is, in many societies, we have lost touch with gratitude. And I think that plays a big part in the way the world is today. People don't care about each other. So in this gathering here, let us make an effort to keep in touch with each other, as many as people we can keep in touch with, and let them know that you appreciate them. Let them know they are loved. This is a Caribbean community, and there's as much mental health in our Caribbean community as anywhere else in the world. So we are all busy with our lives, and we sometimes forget about telling the next person that they are valued, and we need to do more of that. As it turns out, Ozzie has shown through her podcast the importance of gratitude. Giving back, especially directly before the thoughts and prayers. One of the benefits, gratitude is building stronger social bonds, which is evident in Ozzie's podcast, the Thank You podcast, and since then, because she gives back to the people who she started with. She never forgot that these people were there for her when she needed to start her podcast. So she gives back with the Thank You Project. And if you go on her website, you will see many, many people that she has endorsed in her Thank You Project. As we leave this celebration tonight, let's remember to practice gratitude. I appreciate everyone who took their time to come here tonight, and this is a lovely evening. So I love you all, and I think Ozzie does also.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I need a better round of applause for Vashi D'Vrai. She held your attention while I saw the forks moving, and that in itself was an incredible task. Now, the next speaker really doesn't need an introduction, but I will do this, because sometimes it's important to acknowledge individuals for the hard work and commitment. I was a young kid, very young. Gravity didn't apply yet, I still had hair. But I was at Disney World at the time, working at Walt Disney World, and to my astonishment, I turned on the television, and there was Pluto and Goofy, singing, "Who Let the Dogs Out?" As simple as it is for you and I, as a Trinidad and Tobago national working with 73 different nationalities, and I was one, it was the proudest moment of my life because of that one song that made the entire Walt Disney World at Epcot Center come alive. Ladies and gentlemen, he is our Grammy Award winner. He is also a composer, a writer, but more importantly, he's an advocate against domestic violence. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome Mr. Ansam Douglas.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Consul General and all these beautiful people. Ozzie, I love you. Nothing else needs to be said. I love you. I met Ozzie. She interviewed me earlier on this year, I think it was, yeah? And it didn't take much. There is such a thing as love at first sight and love at first meet. So, you know, I really appreciate you, and you have all my gratitude, okay? So, as an entertainer, as someone who's been blessed with the opportunity to have this tool here, this microphone, you see, I believe communicators, be it teachers, anyone who uses their voice in their job, preachers, politicians, comedians, whatever you do once you are a communicator, I believe that you should use that platform to bring awareness to some scourge in society, and we have many of them. I decided as a singer-songwriter, recently turned author, that I would use my microphone to bring awareness to domestic violence and spousal abuse. Because funny thing about that is, it's no respecter of persons. Age. Do you know that there are young people in high school now being abused by the person who they say they're in love with? In high school. You know, it's no respecter of your political affiliation, your financial status or standing. Judges, plumbers, school teachers, policemen, entertainers. Right now in this room, I am 100% sure that there's someone who at some period in their life was abused by the person that they say, I love you too. Amen? And the room is quiet, boy. Amen? Amen? Yeah, it's for real. So, my job is just to bring awareness to it in any way that I can, and I chose my music to do that. I worked with a track to sing a song called Break That Cycle, but I'm going to scratch that on the script and do another song called Abuse. You think I should do it a cappella? You think I should do it a cappella? Yeah. Okay, all right. Now, I know we live on Instagram, so if I bust that, it's bacchanal, you know. All right? So I'm glad you guys are eating, so you could just listen, all right? A scream rings out in the night. That means dark shades tomorrow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Neighbors turn a deaf ear to she plight. Yeah, they crank up their stereo. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Not one person to take she side. So now we free, so free to flexi muscles and she. Well, oh, what a sad situation. A man beating up on he woman. And then the next morning still saying, I love you, baby. Well, that is your granny, your beating boy. And that is your sister, your slapping boy. I know I'm sure that in the core of your brain you're sick, you're sick, you're sick. That is your nanny, you're kicking, boy. And your sister, you're lashing, boy. So like a drug addict, you should seek some attention quick. Now the children scared till they're weak. They huddle up in a corner. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They watching how their mother you ill-treat as you kick and abuse her. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But as they weep and tears they shed, in their heart they wish daddy was dead, because that way they wouldn't have to deal with his pain. But you in your violent stupor, blinded by your rage and anger, while you're half killing she, you know you're hurting your kids again and again and again. Hey, that is your granny you're beating, boy, and that is your tanty you're slapping, boy. So now I sure that in the core of your brain you're sick, you're sick, you're sick. That is your nanny you're kicking, boy, and your sister you're slapping, boy. So like a drug addict, you should seek some attention quick. Well, now the years roll by like a flash. Now you're old and you're aching. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If a mosquito bite, you can't lash. Your memory and all slipping. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, gone are the days of the dandapa. Now you need someone to change your pamper. But there's no one, because in time you treat them like dirt. Your wife, she survived the affliction, while your kids hate the ground that you walk on. All and alone. Now it's you who feeling the hurt, the hurt, the hurt. Hey, that was your granny you beating, boy. And that was your sister you slapping, boy. So now I'm sure that in the core of your brain you're sick, you're sick, you're sick. That is your nanny you're kicking, boy, and your sister you're slapping, boy. So like a drug addict, you should seek some attention quick. Thank you.
Powerful. And we're going to keep on that same tone. The next speaker is an advocate, an activist, sits on the board of the harm reduction, but her message this evening isn't just about the peer support. Her message this evening is a voice of a survivor of sexual abuse. It's not a very easy topic, but it is a necessary topic. And now I hand the microphone over to Miss Marilyn Reyes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marilyn. I want to thank you, Ozzie. Happy birthday. And thank you for having the courage to bring the hard issues to light. I am born and raised in the Bronx, Boogie Down Bronx, as we call it. Right? I grew up Catholic school. My parents very strict. Puerto Ricans, you know. So I had a good upbringing, but in my family, we had family secrets. People don't like to talk about that. Shh, don't say nothing. So, me growing up being sexually abused as a little girl led me to drug use. And I became a heroin user, cocaine user, for about 7 years of my life. My kids were removed from me. And during that time, I went to prison. And when I came home from prison, I said, I'm not giving the man no more this white man no more time. And I decided to make a change in my life. And I found harm reduction, which is just reducing the harms, you know? And we all live harm reduction. You close your door when you leave home, why? To prevent from somebody coming in to rob. You lock your door when you get out your car. Why? You don't want nobody to rob your car. So we all practice harm reduction. But in my case, it was harm reduction in reducing usage of drugs and finding ways to, get help. So you don't, whatever it is, because some people use methadone, some people, like me, I am completely drug-free. But that was the choice in my journey, Some people need medication-assisted treatment. They may need some other types of treatments to get better. And mental health is in that, too. So when I came home from prison, I got my kids back. So now I've raised 6 children. I have 13 grandchildren. Very proud grandma, But in that journey, after I started raising my children, I wanted to give back to my community. So I got involved in harm reduction, and I became an advocate. I joined organization, New York Harm Reduction Educators in Manhattan. Now it's called On Point NYC. And I started doing harm reduction peer work, because peer support is so important in this journey, because you have someone that can understand your journey and what you've been through. So peer support to me is very important when it comes to substance use, sex work, whatever the issue is. Because who else can understand you, somebody that's been there, So, we need clinical people too, but we also, that peer support is very important in helping people on their journey. So when I started giving back, I fell in love with the work. I continue to do it to today. Today, I'm co-director of the Peer Network of New York, top to bottom grassroots. Everyone from the top to the bottom has lived experience. And we're giving back to our community. We don't get funded because we all have history of, drug use, sex work, LGBTQI, etc. So we don't get no funding. Every now and then somebody will donate something, and, but we, do our best to raise money to try to get, because every few months we do an event in our community where we reach out to the homeless and people that use drugs that are living in the street, because I live in the Kingsbridge area of the Bronx. And we give our clothing, we give our food, we reach the community as much, and we could give a referral right then and there. If we need somebody picked up for detox or whatever, we could do that right there at the moment. So, and also every weekend, I'm out there giving back to my community. And during the week, I'm in the emergency room responding to someone that survived a non-fatal overdose. Because, our community, black and browns, are dying at a high rate. We are losing people. Every day, New Yorkers, we lose 19 people a day to a drug overdose. Think about that. We're losing 19 people a day. And this is worldwide. This is not just in New York. But New York is where I come from, so I talk about New York, In the city, every 3 hours, somebody dies of an overdose. So when I meet somebody in the ER, I am going to do my best to, give them some hope. Lead them on their journey somehow, So I will continue this work. I think I'll do it until I die because I love my community. And, there's nothing like seeing somebody, you meet them where they're at, and then seeing them blossom little by little. And you keep, like pushing a little, and they respond to you, and you just love them because you know what? everything's about love. We gotta love our people, no matter what they're going through, because we are throwaways to the government. They don't care about us. You know, so we gotta love and we gotta save each other, because no one is gonna save us.
Marilyn is a face of one of those organizations that you are going to be giving back to. Apart from the Goodwill Industries, and many of you know where Goodwill is located, for the fetters in Trinidad, when you go to Jean Pierre, it's that road that you park your car on that you always miss. But this time you're going to know where it is, because it's an institution for the last 30 years that continues to help individuals with disabilities engage and become employable. This woman is doing it on her own, no government funding, by the support and care of everyone that pitches in. You also have Animal Life. It's one of the largest shelters that's located in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a nonprofit. So that QR code is important. It's not just pretty on a piece of paper. It's meant to do some real work. Now, I'm going to ask you a very small request. I see people collecting chairs because you all think you're going to be here sitting long. No. I'm going to ask you nicely to move with me to the other side of the room. And I will explain to you why. As a young man growing up, I was always told that this is your national instrument. And I was fortunate enough to be going to high school at the time when I believe Hazel Manning was the Minister of Education. And she said, go away with the recorder, bring steel pan. And I remember it quite distinctively, learning to play the steel pan in school. And that moment is etched in my mind, and today we have our national instrument. I know some of you all may disagree, but hear what? Times Square, I didn't see you there. Yeah, I didn't see you celebrating the steel pan in Times Square. So this evening, while you're on Trini soil, I am inviting you over to a young man who, funny enough, I witnessed him performing. He was about 3 years old, opening the Brian Lara Promenade. First documented performance at the age of 3. And ladies and gentlemen, an amazing composer. And I would like you to walk with me in celebration. Pretend you're chipping. Come many earlier just finished Labor Day. Eh? So we're going to chip to the other side of the room as we engage our national instrument, played by none other than Mr. Earl Brooks. And if you need a rum punch intake, I will help you. But we're going down the road.
jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom and with the
Well, before we ask for more, I want to take this opportunity to invite Miss Ozzie back up on front. Yeah. Yeah, we got dance, man. Don't worry. The rum punch is great.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So, you know, in every great event, you have to celebrate, eh? So there are two bits of celebration that we're going to be doing this evening. One, Ozzie is going to be presenting a very special token, followed by a very good friend of mine, Miss Janice Lawrence Clark. And she and I have conspired to do a special number. Yeah? So if you see things falling out of the ceiling, it's all planned. But this presentation is for our Consul General. So Mr. J. Andre Laveau, if you can make your way up here.
I know it's my birthday, but I like to do things this way on my birthday. So this man has been in this service industry for decades, here, overseas, Africa, etc. And I know personally from knowing him just since last August. Yes. I've seen how he works. I've seen how he works in-house. He's like a one-man band. I'm just saying. But I've seen for whom he works. And what we have conspired to do is to I don't even know the word, to celebrate you via these two paintings by Adele Vino. And those are for you. All the way from Trinidad. And you better take them because they will have heavy in my hands coming up here.
Thank you so much. And this is incredible because the artist is somebody who knows me since I was about 2 years old, actually. Correct. So, yeah, wonderful lady. She just never ages.
Correct.
And, but I'm really moved by this. Yeah, this is it's more than I could ask for, just this kind of appreciation. And you are just such a perfect conduit for the kind of things that, yeah. You're just a perfect partner, really and truly. You know, your sincerity, that's what struck me. You know, she's just so real, all right? You don't have to guess, you know. What you see is what you get with Ozzie. And I just wish that everyone that I deal with in the diaspora could show those qualities, you know. So thank you so much, Ozzie, and again, happy birthday. This is wonderful.
You're welcome. On behalf of myself, our team, and all the other people that you've worked with that haven't had the opportunity, let's put it that way, to say thank you.
So while she's on the floor,
Dear Ozzie, thank you.
the acrobats now or
After. So, I am so very happy to see you again after such a long time that I have to sing this special happy birthday song for you. Okay?
To pieces now, really?
Really. A very happy birthday to you. A happy, happy birthday to you. A very happy birthday, my dear, dear Ozzie. A happy, happy birthday to you. God bless you. And you know what? You like my fan? You like my fan? Here.
Mine?
Yes.
God, I need it now.
Yes. Courtesy Flag Fantasy. TRINI Company.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, my
bless you. Thank you.
All right, and back to the DJ. But more importantly, before we go to DJ, folks, don't forget to check out our silent auction table. And we will be passing around a flute of champagne. And we're asking you, it's not to be drunk instantly. It's meant to be a toast. So I would suggest you cater to the rum punch and the water and leave the flute for when we ask for the champagne toast so we can all have full glasses. Yes? Thank you so much. Back to the music.
I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business.
And that was not planned, eh?
Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Who me? I don't watch people, man. I'm looking for house and land. Who me? I don't watch people things. I's a queen. I have my own.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, well-wishers, please raise your glasses. Well, no, you can't tell them thanks as yet. I have the microphone. So, Ozzie, celebrating, Ozzie. Your friends, your family, and your well-wishers are all here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's raise our glasses to celebrate Ozzie, celebrate your wonderful world of giving, but more importantly, to remind everyone about the work of On the Call and Beyond the Call. And that is why we're here, to raise our glasses to gratitude and for the spirit of volunteerism. Ozmaster, hip hip, and happy birthday. And before you finish it, keep the glasses in your hand because at this time we will invite Mary, who will be representing our Consul General. And she's going to bring a few words of thanks because we just have to express our gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Consul General, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for joining us here today for this remarkable occasion. We are here not only to celebrate the official launch of Ozzie Stewart's new ventures, the call network, TRINI Corner, of which the consulate had the privilege of being featured, the Consul General. Yeah, great. And also your Hard Talk podcasts, but also to honor her birthday and the incredible work of her NGO, Beyond the Call. A special thanks to our host and MC as well, and also the Consul General for hosting this event, as well as the staff of the Consul General who is here today. All of our... Thank you. Yes. And all of our guests present here today, especially from the charitable organizations, the various organizations that you represent. Your support and commitment truly makes a difference. To our vibrant Trini diaspora here today, your support and enthusiasm is invaluable. It is your engagement and passion that help drive initiatives like these forward. Thank you once again to everyone that has contributed to making this event a success, and let us continue to uplift one another in this collective journey. So enjoy the rest of the evening and get home safely. Thank you.
And now Mary and I will salute all of you. Get home safely. But before you depart, don't forget we've got a raffle that we are going to be asking one of the OTC members to pull in just a few seconds, and we also have the silent auction. All right, we're looking for ticket number 651107. 651107. Okay, we've got 651075. 651075. All right, this number is going to be called the final time. 651075. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, we've got 651007. That's 651007. Last call for this number, 651007. Final. All right, our next lucky number is 651148. 651148. Final call. Let's verify that it's 651148. All right, we're getting 651040. That's 651040. You're very welcome. Marilyn, you're a winner. You are a winner through and through. We've got some more lovely artisan pieces. And we have some handmade coasters for those social gatherings. We just want to thank Mr. ClivePrivat.com, the artists who sponsor these amazing pieces. So we're going to bounce on 651164. 651164. I am going to the next lotto machine with you. Atlantic City, you are my buddy. I'm going to stay right by booth number 4. Lady Luck is in the house. Now we have a wonderful purse that was handmade. All right, let me see if it's your number. 651088. 651088. You called it and you received it. All right, so as we watch our time in this wonderful event, the clock ticks. The clock ticks. Let's see what time it is. Let's see, it's your time. This is the last piece by Mr. Clive Privat. And the lucky number is 651139. A beautiful handmade piece by Mr. Clive Privat. and brought all the way from beautiful Trinidad just to be celebrated by you. Listen, I tell you, that booth number 4, listen, if I was Pope John Paul, I've been kneeling in this spot. Lady Lockerstruck, you have been absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Don't forget we've got Amen to Sweet Spots, written by none other than Ozzie Stewart, and she's in the house. A small contribution of $20, and then we have our silent auction. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're leaving, we bid you a safe journey, get home safely, but more importantly, get online and become active in your volunteerism. And we would like to say thank you for joining us. Have a safe journey home. Folks, we've got just a few minutes before we close the wonderful function. We kiss you farewell.
So you better come through this time, please hear my cry.